Well,
I think Keystone's a really perfect example. It's been a lot of process concerns. They've been fighting on the issue of jobs, which is the Republican and the corporate interest framing of it. But it's really a question of profits for a few people over the next quarter versus people over the next generation. And it's also a question of democracy. You've got people in all of the states where their water is going to be affected, where their environment is going to be affected, and where some of their local industries are going to be affected, doing an amazing amount of grassroots activism around this issue. And it's just saying, you know what, no, this shouldn't be something that benefits one corporation over our habitat.
Those voices are as strong now in this debate as they have been, because at the beginning of this whole debate over Keystone, you know, he had the demonstrations in front of the White House and so on and so forth. Now it seems like the rhetoric is turned in the Republicans' favor in terms of the fact that there is a now discussion of how many jobs would be created for Keystone, and then it's in the broader context of the jobs and economic picture in the country.
I think if you still went to Nebraska, if you still went to some of these states, you would still find the same amount of energy. It's just a question of sort of where the media is paying attention. But fundamentally, if someone's going to run a pipeline that is going to explode the greenhouse gases in the environment, shouldn't the people who would be affected have as much say, if not more, than just the company that would profit? That's what this is about.
Congressman, I want to bring you back in here as we talk about 2012. There is a mountain of negative ads that have been on the airwaves, and I have to ask you, as chair of the DNC, what is your favorite line of attack that has been lobbied at Mitt Romney so far?
Well, I think Mitt Romney has done a fantastic job exposing himself for what he really is, and that is someone who is only interested in making sure that people who are already doing well do even better. Extending tax breaks for the wealthiest, most fortunate Americans, and particularly the exposure that he's gotten, where he's not come clean and just acknowledged that he was a corporate buyout specialist at Bain, and that his job was to ship jobs overseas and to dismantle companies and to force them into bankruptcy and to cut pension and health care benefits. You know, he hasn't released his tax returns, and now we come to learn that yesterday he acknowledged that he pays a tax rate approaching 15%, dramatically different than the middle class.
That sounds like a vulture capitalist, maybe your favorite phrase. But I wonder, you know, in opening up Romney's record at Bain, are you at all concerned about the fact that President Obama has just named as his acting director of the OMB a former Bain, a grand poobah at Bain? Does that concern you at all as we sort of dissect what Bain did, that someone in the administration was in fact employed there?
Mitt Romney is running for president of the United States and hanging his record at Bain as the reason that voters should elect him. I mean, so his record, his role as the CEO of Bain Capital, in which even his partner acknowledged that he never looked at their role as job creation, but rather as making wealth, creating wealth for their investors. That's what Mitt Romney has exposed as his record. It's what he needs to run on, and he's going to need to be held accountable for it, as much as he might try to run from it at the same time.
Congresswoman, I don't know whether that's you're voicing your support for vulture capitalist or king of Bain, but we will surely see as the DNC takes to the airways in the coming months. Thank you again for joining us, Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Always a pleasure to have you.